Hi, it's Gwendolyn from Lifestyle Sew. This is the second video on Lutterloh pattern 121. This one. Now this has come up as a woven pattern. I actually do think that'd be better in a knit, really. I've done it in a woven, so I don't know how it's going to turn out just at this moment because we've only got to the first few stages. So there's a few things I need to talk about. Before you move forward with the video, you're going to have to watch it all the way through. Because on my channel, I'll show you all the ins and outs of any system. What works, what doesn't work, and all the rest of it. That's worth have different designers to do different things. But just watch it all the way through. You decide what you want to do about it. One is your pattern ease. That you will, once you've cut out your pattern and you've done any adjustments you have to do, then you will cut it out, just the top half. You can cut out the whole of it if you like, but I just cut out the top half and I will adjust the bottom half if need be, because I know I'm going to have to adjust the bottom half. You can sew with this stuff. It can tear, but the more you use it, the more you start sewing and moving it, it gets more like material. It's bizarre. So that's with the pattern ease. This, on the ties, it says 1 tie times 1 for the back and times 1 for the front. I'm suspecting when they've said that they just put a little hem on, because I thought originally this was all together. It was cut separately, it's all together, but it's not. The dress is made, and these ties, one tie goes over the front, one tie comes from the same side on the back, and they tie at the side. So the huge things and just tie at the side. So it's not actually part of the dress, so you can leave it out if you want to. Or you could put 2 ties on either side at the front and just tighten the front to make it shorter. A bit like the other dress that I made. But I've done it as the pattern, but I've made 4 of these. And the reason why is this, because it's finer fabric. So when I've sewn it now, all the way through, when I turn this inside out, that'll be 1 tie. And you have to turn it inside out when you sew it into the side, and it will run down the side of you, and you'll put your back in your front, and this will go as we go through. I'll show you how to put that in as you go through. But the only thing is make sure that when you're sewing it, you sew one side all the way through, and when you sew the other side, keep it flat. You don't want this material bulking up, and then it's actually, you haven't got a flat piece. It is on the bias. So although it goes on the straighter grain, which is fine, there's no stretch in the middle at all, it is stretchy on the bias because you've cut it now to a different shape all the way through. So you have now got a bias on both ends. That is stretchy. So instead of just doing a stay stitch, I just sewed this is the first thing I did. I sewed both ties. Then I did the stay stitching on the neck. So I did it all the way around the neck. Well, you can't see it really. That's so that neck doesn't stretch out. Because when you put the other side of this, the facing on, if it stretches out, it won't fit properly. You'll get puckers and it won't be right. So you always need to stay stitch your collar. Anything that's curved, the top of your arms, well, you don't really need to stage this then, but you are going to put 2 rows of only a tiny 2 rows of stitching. I put this on 3.8 to do stitches. It has gathered this because this is very fine fabric, so it has gathered it slightly. So I haven't put another row of stitching on there. Normally it's 2 rows and you pull them together, but I'm just going to see. I think that might just fit in that cap without actually doing that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to pattern match this because I had more than enough material to do it, and then I thought, well, I will see if I like the pattern first. Because I wasn't sure then, after I did the draft and said I was going to do it, whether this, in stretch, it's different because it will hold to your body in stretch, and whether this tie gets loose, or whether, you know, or whether it would have been better stitching it actually down as part of the dress and just having the ties at the side. So we will see. I really do love this fabric. I was in two minds whether to use it or not for this, because I would have preferred it for something more flowing. And then this is a more fitted, and that's why I like the knit better. But we will see how it turns out. You will need something to finish your facings off. Here's your facings. Now your facings, I've put a woven facing, cotton woven facing inside, iron on. It's quite lightweight. You need it so, you know, you do your sewing so it's not part of your hem. But to be honest, this is that lightweight. It doesn't matter if it catches in the hem a little bit. But I've also overlocked everything. And I will be overlocking this afterwards if I like it. Once I've actually made up the dress and I decide, you know what it's like. You make something, you think, oh, okay, that's nice, I'll wear it out. And then when you wear it out, right, actually, that's not very practical, really. It's not really moving the way I want, or it's a bit see-through, or whatever it is. And then we decide we don't like it so much. So sometimes when I work on something I really like I made this, this is fabulous to wear. This is really nice to wear. It fits really nice and it feels very comfortable to wear. Anyway, so that's with the all the facings. I've sewn up the back. I've done the little cap sleeves, and now I have to see if the fit's going to work. The adjustments I've made is going to work with this dress, and it certainly wouldn't have fit me had I not done any adjustments anyway. So that's one thing. So we'll just have to see how it pans out. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to sew the shoulders together. So a little bit of what we're doing. It's an arm. That's an arm. I don't want those at the time being. Fabric under here just to get me started. I like to do that so it doesn't catch under the foot. There we go. So now we've got the start of a dress. So before I do anything else, we have to put the darts in. Nearly forgot that. I've gone out of routine here. I have to put my darts in. I mark my darts. I don't suppose you could see it. Anyway, I've marked the darts. So what I'm going to do is use a pin. Get one leg of the dart at the top there. And I want to put it through the other leg of the dart, which is there. This is a big dart. You probably won't need a dart this size, but so I make sure that they are going to be together. And that's fine. And that fold is roughly there. That's fine. And then I take my pin out. Okay, that's fine. And the other side. And once you put your darts in, we need to sew it together. So we're going to just do under the arms. Now you can pin this if you want to, all the way down. That's up to you. Now at this stage, if there's any tweaks to be done, they're literally tweaks. They're not, if they're major alterations, then you've done the patterning wrong. Or you've done your FBA wrong, or whatever it is. Now, I'm not expecting this to fit me on the hip or anything, because normally I have to readjust everything and go down again with my sewing machine. Tried it on, and you'll be pleased to know it fits, sort of. Actual fact, the bust adjustment side of it and at the top. But I think I did do a neck adjustment. I did 2 neck adjustments. I did it that it was a lot lower. And then I also did, because I'm shallow at the top, I did 2, well, it's cut on the side, isn't it? So it's only 1 adjustment, but it works for both ways. I think I took in a good inch on either side. How you do that is you split it to your armhole and just fold your pattern over, tape it down, tape all this down, and then true in the neck, just round in the neck again. And then that'll work for both sides, and it'll make the top here. So it's not all baggy material that you do get with a lot of people, especially with if you're big chested. So that's sorted. Yes, I do. There literally is just a little bit of the hip that needs to come out and go. And then I can put the facings on. And by the way, when you do, there is meant to be a zip for this. But because I have actually changed this neckline so it's lower for me, you'll see how low it is at the end. It's not that low, but it's lower than the original neckline. It means that the I can put it over my head wearing it. Now I have to have the neck that low because I've literally got no neck. Like a ball stuck on top of me shoulders. So I mean, you might have a beautiful neck, so you may want it higher, but just see how it fits. This is the thing, is patterning. You can do what you want, really. So that's why we sew, so we can do all these little tweaks that fit us. The arms, I'm sure, are going to fit perfectly, because that is a perfect fit on the armhole. Normally you don't get such a perfect fit around here when you're putting in the armhole. So I know that's going to be brilliant. The front's brilliant. And because I knew I had to, I knew I was going to have to redo the hip. But to put it on me, to get a real true idea of how that dress is going to be, I had to sew it up. Now I have to unpick it. But I did do it in a larger stitch, so it's going to be easy to unpick, because then I've got to put the sides in. And once you put the sides in, I mean, this fits me perfect down the front, round the sides anyway. So you could wear this dress without putting those sides on. But I am going to put the sides on because I've made them. And that's the whole idea. So, and then we'll see how good it turns out to be. So make sure that you put an extra hem length on when you cut it out. So therefore you've got something to play with to get that desired hem. Now the hem on this is going to, I won't make this hem half an inch, be half an inch. That's about it. That's all I'm going to make this hem anyway. You've mock sewn up the side, if you like, so just to make sure you've got your hip fitting right. And if you haven't, you can then do your blending in. If you want to just take a little bit off the hip, and if you need to, and just blend it in slightly to your sides. Now it's both ties. I've pinned them together. So both of our ties, there's 2 there, 2 different ties. So backwards and fronts, you've got the same, there's no raw edges on this. So we're going to pin this inside. So all I'm going to do is literally drop it into the hole that I've created on the side. So now this is about, I put this about a ½ inch from the top of my armhole. And what you need to do, you need to pin this. Right, you know, I like to show you when the pattern's not quite right. And this is the case with this dress. So I'm just going to tip it down and show you. I'm going to alter it a little bit to see if that works. But I don't know how practical this dress is going outside using it. So let me just tip this down so I can actually show you what I mean. Again, you won't see my head, but I need to show you bits and pieces. Okay, so they're both in the side seam, like this. I don't like this. So you've got 2 ties in the side seam. Now one tie comes around the front and one tie goes round the back. According to the pattern. So if you have a look on the pattern, on the back, it's also got the tie here. Also got the tie coming from one side to do the other. And then obviously it's on the same side. Don't worry about this little mess here. I'm actually unpicking it. But I thought I'd show you first before I did. Now, in theory, on the design, it comes straight from under the armhole. That's it. And so it comes more or less, maybe a little, well, it can't come any higher because I've actually taken it too far up. So I need to drop it. But, so when I drop this down 1.5 inches, so it doesn't get caught in the seam allowance, because I've put it a little too far up, it's actually going to come down lower anyway. Neck. Let me get the back first. This is a faff, getting the back first. And then that's the whole idea of it. And then you tie it up at the sides. Right, okay. So you think, okay, that's great. That's workable. And that's true. That is absolutely workable, lovely. So you've got your front working fine. But on the back, because it comes from the side, what you've got is this huge gap all the way through, because really that's the end of the ties when it fits in, and there's the top here. So even if I drop it down another 1.5 inches, it's going to come down on my hip 1.5 inches. That's going to come down here. It's up at the moment, it's here. It's going to come down here, so it's right on the top of the thigh to go. That's far too wide. It really is far too wide to do that. So I don't know whether they actually get somebody to actually cut out and work the pattern out, but this is too wide. It literally is too wide. Okay. So it's great when you're first doing that, but once you start sitting down and you're moving about, see, this huge, it's such a mess. It's such a mess. So what I'm going to do is, this material was expensive, so I'm not going to waste it. I mean, this is a lovely fit. The dress itself, the actual dress itself, which is perfectly acceptable as a dress. I could just take those ties off and just use this as a dress, and that would be fine. But I'm not going to do that. I sew these ties. I'm going to keep that the same width at the bottom. But the top here, I'm going to dramatically come in on both and drop it down 1.5 inches and see if that works. You know, because it's just, look at that. I mean, flipping heck, that is really right. What I've decided to do is there's 2 things I may do on this. I've recut the ties. So I think I took them in about 1 inch on either side. I literally just sewed 1 inch in on either side, all the way down, and then I just cut off the excess. But I didn't do it all the way down. I just did it halfway down. So the ties, basically, I think I stopped about there. So these ties are exactly the same width. So I just filtered it in. So it gradually got an inch and smaller and smaller till about this stage. And if this works, that's fine, because the dress fits lovely. The dress does fit nice. It fits nice all the way around. So very pleased with the fit of the dress. It's the styling. And this is what the problem is with these patterns. Really need to be made up properly from a few people to test the pattern before they actually write the pattern out. Because in theory it looks simple. Oh, I'll just put that cross, that looks great, which it did. That's why we picked it. But in reality, that back doesn't work. So it might work a bit better with stretch, because it does cling a little bit more, but even so, you're going to lose the tension at some stage. Sorry, I'm looking at the cat. He's playing about. God. Anyway, this time I'm only going to baste it in. I'm not going to sew it in properly, so I can whip it out quite quick, probably on a 4 on my machine, and so I can whip it out. Right, I've done what I said before, because before, remember, it was right up to the armhole and it wasn't fitting across the boob, and it didn't fit on the back. So remember, I took the ties in about an inch on either side, so I would have an inch shorter up here, an inch shorter down there, so I could move this down comfortably. And in theory, that should have worked. Not the back, but the front should have been absolutely lovely and smooth. And this is what we have. I'm just going to take that picture down. So you've got these enormous ties. So this, I've never seen a dress that works like this. So you've got the tie here that comes around here. And we've got the back tie. I do like the feeling of this on you. I do like the feeling of these ties on you, I've got to say. Just make you feel quite comfortable and covered. Right, so that's how you would normally just put it on. And admittedly, with the Lutterloh, they did say one piece for this, one front and one piece for the back. I'm just going to show you how to put the neckline on. I have sewn my neckline and I've joined them all together, because that for me is the easiest way to do it. But not always. It all depends on the pattern and, to be honest, what mood I'm in. So I've got my neckline. And I've got my fabric, the wrong sides, out. So I'm going to get my back first. And it is right sides together. Now I know I've got a seam in the back, because I've sewn both of these, because I'm not putting a zip in. If you were putting a zip in, you wouldn't do this. That's why you wouldn't sew these two together if you were putting a zip in. Well, I don't have a problem with that, so that's what we do. Clip those together, and now I'm going to do the front. And clip it inside. And I've also got a seam, but I've also marked the centre front of this dress. So I can put my seam on that. Open the seams up. And that's fairly close to. Oops. Okay, so we've done that. And now I'm going to put the shoulders, do the shoulders. Oh, shush. What is it? So look at your eyes. Stay still. And the other one. So look at your teeth. Oh, you've got gorgeous teeth. Oh, wow. Just make sure you don't ever bite me with those teeth. Is that right? No, I nearly matched it to the armhole then. Didn't we, Snow? Oh, look at your nose. Stay still, stay still. Stay. Okay. I think he has a little bit of hay fever. So his nose gets a little bit weird. Right, so the backs. Right, so we've sewn the facings in. As you see, they're all inside here now. There you go. Facings are all inside there now. So first of all, we just need to go around and give it a little clip all the way around. And then we're going to understitch so the facing lies flatter. And then we're going to, well, actually, I'm going to iron this first before I understitch it. And I just want to make sure that we roll that back so you don't see the back of the facing all the way around. I'm going to give that a little try on as well. Again, I'm all for, it doesn't matter how many times you try it on, you just want to make sure you've got your neckline, it's not wonky, you like it. And this is where we use our ham. It's called a ham. So you iron your neckline over the top, and you will iron your sleeve over the top of this because it's nice and round, and it'll give that lovely shape and professional look. Quite nice as a sleeveless top, to be honest. You know, okay, this neckline will be okay. But the problem is with the length of, because I hadn't got enough length to start with, when I trim, do this bottom, if I can get down, when I do this hem, if you like, the front needs to be trimmed properly to match the back. Now the back of this dress is really nice. It fits very nice, actually, but the back's an easy fit. That is going to come to like, 2.5 inches when I put a hem on it. 2.5 inches above my knee. Oh no, we can't have that. Oh my God, I'm going to look like some sort of... No, I won't even say the words what I'm going to look like. We're not having that, are we? No, we want to look, you know, chic and classy when we go out. And although I do wear short skirts, don't get me wrong, but I wear them with thick tights in the winter, because I do actually wear quite a lot of trendy stuff. But this dress, although it feels very nice on, it's I haven't done the ties. I took the ties off. It just didn't work with the ties. It just didn't look nice at all with the ties. I took the ties in half. I split them in half, had a look what it was going to be like with just a single layer on, like it does say. And that looked even worse. That really looked even worse because it just didn't look great. So for me, this pattern is a no-no. The fit is fine. The actual base of the dress is fine. The neck adjustment, that's down to me. That's my fitting issue. The length is down to the pattern, because that should come down. It should basically, when they cut it out, tell you to cut it off here. You should really be, ordinarily you think, oh, I'll measure that length, and ordinarily another pattern make sure the length is correct, but most Lutterlohs are long, and yeah, I debate that. But once you put your own fit in it, the dress fits fine. What you want to say? Say hello, say hello. Oh, I don't know what. You know, he is a very loving, cuddly cat, and he'll lie next to you. Although I hold him, and clip his nails, and I can touch his mouth and do his teeth and all sorts of things like that, and clip him and everything, because he's handled a lot. But and he likes to be the centre of attention. He likes to be on you when we're sewing. I don't know what it is about the sewing machine and sewing, talking to you a lot. He's upstaging me. My little poodle, I've got a little poodle. She's an absolute adorable really, really is the loveliest, gentlest dog in the world. But and they love each other, and he'll jump on her back. Get off. But playing anyway. Yes, so this is not a win. There's no point me carrying on through this because I'm not gonna wear this dress at all. It's for me, it's a design disaster. A few things, but yes, this pattern can be made again, and yes, it can be adjusted to what you want it to be done. The ties, no. Could I put the ties in the side and tie them at the front like the Buddha pattern that I just finished? Yes. And I could do it in knit and it would look great and the fit would be great. That's going to be a win-win. So all we do, it's a sewing lesson, isn't it, really, with yourself. You move on. You get, okay, that didn't work out. Feel bad that you've got to see it. But leave them down below. Subscribe and join our Facebook group if you like. We'd love to see you. Okay, bye.